It's 5:45 a.m. on the 15th of October 2025. The sun has barely touched the southern Caribbean, and the sea looks calm until the radar alarms scream. From the bridge of a US Navy destroyer, 3 bright contacts appear, racing north at 28 knots. They're not passing by, they're forming a wall. The captain grabs the radio. Contacts bearing 217, closing fast. On the horizon, 3 Venezuelan patrol craft cut through the morning haze, bows high, white spray curling off their hulls. Every sailor on deck freezes as the collision alarm echoes across steel. The destroyer's engines surge. Chains snap loose from a waiting Seahawk helicopter. The Mark 45 gun turret turns a few degrees. Deliberate, calm, unmistakable. "They're trying to block us," someone says quietly. The captain doesn't look away. "Maintain course," he replies. The sea between both sides tightens. Silence before a crash that hasn't happened yet. One side will blink, the other will not. The southern Caribbean may look peaceful on a map, but it's one of the most tense stretches of ocean in the Western Hemisphere. Beneath those calm blue waves, cables, fuel routes, and trade lanes connect half the region. Every ship that sails here sends a message, especially when it carries American flags. For the US Navy, freedom of navigation isn't just a policy, it's proof that international waters belong to everyone. For Venezuela, each crossing feels like a challenge near their backyard. The carrier group moving south of Curaçao that morning wasn't just a fleet, it was a symbol. 1 aircraft carrier, several destroyers, and a support ship worth billions. A floating city with thousands of sailors, pilots, and engineers. Each person trained for moments like this, tight, nerve-rattling, and full of uncertainty. The destroyer's job was simple on paper: protect the carrier. But in reality, it meant holding the line while another nation's warships raced straight toward them. Strategically, the spot mattered. Those waters sit close to Venezuela's claimed security zone, but they're still international. It's a narrow corridor where every degree of heading counts. A 5-degree turn can mean the difference between deterrence and retreat. The Venezuelan patrols weren't trying to attack. They wanted a reaction, a sign that the US Navy would yield even a little. Cameras on both sides were rolling. Every second could be edited into propaganda by morning. For the crew on board, the politics faded fast. What mattered was trust in training, in calm voices over the radio, in the idea that discipline could outmatch aggression. You can't panic in a steel box surrounded by the sea. You move, you breathe, you wait for the next order. That's how you keep a billion-dollar formation steady when someone else is daring you to flinch. The first alert hits like a heartbeat through steel. 3 fast contacts, bearing 217, closing at 28 knots, the Surface Watch reports. The captain leans in. "Copy. Maintain intercept posture. No targeting." The destroyer pushes ahead of the carrier, a gray spear cutting through low waves. Engines climb to 90%. The hum under the deck turns into a steady vibration felt through every boot sole. On the flight deck, air crews rush into position. The MH-60R Seahawk's rotors unfold, blades flexing in the humid air. One sailor yells, "Clear left!" The chopper surges up, the carrier's shadow shrinking below. Inside the Combat Information Center, radar screens glow pale green. A young technician adjusts the filter, eyes never blinking. One dot brightens, steady and strong. Real contact, real intent. Another crewman logs the timestamp, 5:47. Everyone can feel the range closing, 9.3 nautical miles. Someone calls out. The bridge radio clicks open. Unidentified Venezuelan naval vessels. This is a United States warship operating in international waters. You are crossing a restricted formation. Alter course immediately. Silence answers back. Only static and the faint hum of diesel engines through the comm line. Outside, white wakes stretch across the horizon. The Venezuelan patrol boats hold formation, cutting the sea into a sharp V. The destroyer's Mark 45 turret turns forward, visible, deliberate. The phalanx CIWS spins, barrels glinting under dawn light. No one speaks. The message is visual. We see you. We're ready. but we won't shoot first. On the carrier's deck, jets remain tied down but powered. Catapult crews wait by. Silent, hands resting on rails. Discipline holds the line. Range, 8.6 nautical miles. The surface watch calls. Copy. Maintain course. The captain answers. Every move now is measured in inches. Every order a test of control. A small mistake could light up headlines or start a war. The crew breathes in rhythm with the ship, eyes locked on radar screens. Each pulse of green light is a heartbeat. Each second, a choice between calm and chaos. Watching this unfold, you can feel that tension, the silence before contact, the weight of one steady decision. If you were there, what would you do? Press 1 if you'd hold position, 9 if you'd break off and turn. The distance keeps shrinking. 5.9 nautical miles, the watch officer calls out. The patrol boats spread wider, still blocking the route. They aren't charging, but they're not moving aside either. It's a slow-motion game of nerve played at 20 knots. The helicopter climbs to 600 feet, giving the fleet a clear eye from the sky. Its camera locks onto the Venezuelan hull's gray, flags snapping in the wind. Through infrared, the engines glow white-hot. The pilot reports calmly. Visual contact on 3 patrol craft. Formation steady, speed unchanged. On the destroyer's deck, every camera records. The gun crew stand by, weapons uncovered but cold. The captain's voice stays firm. Visible posture only. Do not paint targets. That single rule separates restraint from chaos. Inside the Combat Information Center, radar sweeps in rhythm. Ping, ping, ping like a clock counting down. The tension is physical. Sweat rolls down necks. Hands tighten around consoles. 4.9. The watch calls. The room stays quiet except for the hum of machines. Radio again. Venezuelan naval vessels. Alter course immediately. You are closing within restricted distance. Seconds of silence, then a clipped reply. You are entering our security zone. Reduce speed and change heading now. The captain looks to his officer. Maintain course. Maintain speed. Log every transmission. The destroyer holds steady. The carrier behind it never slows, still on heading 217. From above, the entire formation looks like a silver blade slicing through blue water. Any turn now would tell the world who blinked first. In close encounters, every angle counts, a narrator might say. Even a 5-degree turn can mean surrender. But here, nobody turns. Only the engines grow louder, the ocean slapping against steel. Time stretches thin. The radar shows 4.6 miles. The lead patrol boat aligns bow to bow with the destroyer's path. One wrong move and metal meets metal. One steady command decides everything. If you were on that bridge knowing the next second could decide war or peace, would you hold course or yield? Press 1 if you'd stay the line, 9 if you'd turn away. For 10 long seconds, nobody breathes. Then, something changes. Not a blast, not a shout, but a subtle shift of motion. The Venezuelan lead ship eases its throttle, slowing just enough for the wake to ripple differently. To the naked eye, it's nothing. To the radar, it's the first sign of hesitation. On the helicopter feed, the heat bloom fades from the engines. The pilot reports, lead vessel reducing speed slightly. Formation no longer tight, V-shape. In the Combat Information Center, the technician marks the change. A quiet relief hums through the room, but the captain doesn't move. Hold course, he says, no celebration. The 3 Venezuelan patrol boats start drifting out of alignment. What was once a hard barrier is now a loose line. It isn't surrender, it's recalculation. Someone on the bridge murmurs, "They wanted us to flinch." The captain answers, "Then let's give them nothing." At 4.2 miles, the tension softens but doesn't break. The destroyer stays on course, engine steady, heading locked. The captain's hands rest calmly on the console. Every movement from here is quiet control. From above, the helicopter circles wide, recording every frame. The footage will later show the moment one side blinked first, not with weapons, but with patience lost. This is the unseen turn of modern confrontation. No explosion, no smoke, just a test of willpower between 2 sets of eyes across an open sea. The wall they tried to build is already cracking. And yet, No one on deck cheers. The crew knows it isn't over until the range widens and the risk is gone. In those last tense minutes, both sides seem to realize the same thing. Sometimes retreat is the only way to save face. But if you were standing there, hearing that small shift in the engines, would you have known the wall was breaking? Press 1 if you'd hold firm till the end, 9 if you'd pull back once they slowed. The next 30 seconds decide everything. The Venezuelan patrol boats keep sliding east, their speed dropping from 28 knots to 20, then 18 on radar. The contacts finally drift apart 4 miles, then 5. The destroyer's bridge falls into near silence, everyone waiting for confirmation. Visual on-course change. The helicopter pilot reports over comms. They're pulling away. The captain nods once. Copy. Maintain altitude until full separation. His voice stays calm, but every sailor feels the air change the pressure, releasing all at once. For the first time in 20 minutes, nobody's holding their breath. On deck, the Phalanx CIWS slows its spin, the gun barrels reflecting early sunlight. The Mark 45 turret remains fixed forward, silent but ready. The carrier behind the destroyer holds its speed, steady as a freight train. From above, the formation looks perfect again, precise lines carving through the Caribbean blue. Inside the Combat Information Center, operators log every second bearing, distance, timestamps. Screens fill with data that will later become reports, evidence, and lessons. Contacts now 6.1 nautical miles and widening, the surface officer calls. Copy that. Maintain course, the captain replies. Outside, the sea looks calm again, as if none of it happened. But every sailor knows what nearly unfolded. No missiles, no gunfire. Yet this was a confrontation measured in courage, control, and inches. Every heartbeat mattered. Every word on the radio carried the weight of nations. The helicopter circles once more, cameras rolling as the Venezuelan ships fade into the distance. The pilot's last call crackles through. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual confirmation formation dispersing. Area secure. The captain exhales slowly. Good work. Log it. Around him, the crew shares quiet glances. No cheers, no noise, just the calm after tension. They all know this wasn't about firepower. It was about nerve. On the carrier bridge, the strike group commander folds his arms. Keep it that way, he says quietly. We don't reward bluffs. If you'd been there watching 3 hostile ships turn away after pushing the line, that far would you have felt pride or just relief? Press 1 if you'd call it victory, 9 if you'd say it was just survival. By 6:05 a.m., the radar shows clear separation, 6.2 nautical miles and widening. The Venezuelan patrol boats turn east-southeast, engines throttled down, their wakes fading behind them. The destroyer holds steady. The carrier group resumes formation like a machine resetting itself after stress. No one celebrates, no one claps. Out here, silence means victory. On the flight deck, the Seahawk lands with a gentle thud. Rotors fold, chains clink, and the aircrew steps out in slow, deliberate motion. Around them, sailors return to routine, but the tension still hums in their bones. They all know they stood on the edge of something that could have gone very wrong. Inside the Combat Information Center, every second of the standoff is logged: bearing angles, radar sweeps, heat signatures, radio lines. Analysts will study it for months, not to see who blinked, but to learn how professionalism can stop chaos before it begins. The story that morning isn't about who fired, it's about who didn't have to. The lesson echoes across the fleet. Patience can be power. A destroyer doesn't need to shoot to show dominance. It only needs to hold position when others expect fear. For Caracas, it was theater for the cameras. For Washington, it was routine, another patrol in international waters, no different than hundreds before. But for the sailors who lived it, it was a reminder that courage sometimes looks like standing still. This quiet encounter will ripple far beyond the Caribbean. It shows how smaller navies will keep testing big ones, hoping to win with headlines instead of hardware. And it shows how the real contest isn't just on radar screens, it's psychological, fought between restraint and reaction, Next time, it might not end this quietly. If you followed this far, what do you think won that morning, firepower or discipline? Press 1 if you believe patience is strength, 9 if you think holding the line was too dangerous. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next real encounter that proves how close peace and conflict can really sail.